Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Today's video, I'm going to go over replacement of the primer bulb on the grass trimmers carburetor units. It's a very common occurrence for these guys to split after some time of usage. A lot of it gets exposed to gasoline. The plastic itself doesn't really last that long from fuel contact, and it's not that difficult to replace these guys. You just need to get yourself a primer bulb based on the model of the unit. And this, for example, this unit right here, this is a Shindaiwa T282. So when you go ahead and order a primer bulb, which basically you'll see these guys are like this, for your carburetor, you need to be specific on the type of unit that you have. They will ask you at the counter when you go to order that you need a primer bulb. And they probably cost, I'd say, like less than $6 to give you guys an idea for these little primer bulbs. It might be a good idea to check what type of carburetor you do have. So when you do put in the application, the 282 Shindaiwa, they'll tell you the specific carburetor that is for this unit, so you can get the correct primer bulb. There are different sizes. Some are a little bigger than this guy. So be kind of careful on the model that you have and the type of carburetor you have. If you go on some of the sites, on the websites, they will tell you and show you the type of carburetor that is for that unit, so you know which bulb to get. First of all, simply got to remove the air filter housing, the cover, the air filter. Just take your time with this guy. You got your two set screws here that hold the carburetor assembly to the engine. They're long machine screws that go completely through this housing, through the carburetor, into the base plate that is attached to the that mounts directly to the carburetor the engine for the trimmer, and also obviously supports the carburetor itself. Take your time removing them because they are small machine screws in here, so you got to be kind of careful. So obviously just put this housing on the side when you're done removing it. Be careful of the gasket on the back side, the main gasket. There are a set of holes on here that line up, allow air to flow through for your carburation intake system. So be sure you put it back the same way you took it off. Just if worst comes to worst, guys, I kid you not, best thing to use, your camera on your cell phone. You'll never be able to put it back in correct. Then you remove your fuel line. This is the incoming line, and this is the return line. You will have to detach your throttle cable right here on the very top. There's a cable piece here that kind of rotates to the side. You'll kind of work it, and the cable will flip off. And then you can slowly, some carburetors, you can slip the cable out. Some others that you have to crack this 10mm nut here and thread this brass fitting off to remove the carburetor. Then you can work on it like how this one is. I'm just using this as an example. This is a different make, as you can obviously see, but essentially it has the same housing, the same bottom part for the primer. So these set of small little machine screws take a little effort to get them off. They're probably like about an inch long. So take your time getting them off, because they are there are fine threads on top of this guy. Most critical thing you got to be careful for is your carburetor is aluminum housing. So you got to be kind of careful when you put the threading back in there, so you don't cross the threads, because that's going to seriously hamper you securing the screws, that machine screws that hold the housing all together. There are some body gaskets in between this housing, so be very careful when you're about ready to separate it. Take your time. Like I said earlier, haste makes waste, guys, and you don't want to be all frustrated for simple tasks like changing this bulb, as I would consider it simple. Then just remove the top half here. I put the rest on the side. What I usually do, just for safekeeping, is I take one screw and I send it back inside, just to keep all my stuff together so it doesn't go flying out. There are some gaskets in here. There is also a set spring, a small little flat spring that's underneath here. underneath the primer bulb diaphragm. So just put them there just to keep it in safekeeping, so you don't lose the entire sections of the carburetor itself. That's kind of a thing that I've done in the past, just for sake of not losing parts. Primer bulb, if this was split, we just push it out of this holder, grab a new one, obviously, and just slide it right back in. And then we're going to reinstall it the same way we took it off. So be kind of careful when you're putting her back. The same way you took it off, same way you put it back. Secure it down. Go ahead and reinstall your carburetor back up. Return your cover with your set screws back into the housing again. And install your air filter housing, everything back on. When you get it up there, don't forget to prime the bulb a few strokes so you see the fuel come in, and then return, going back to the fuel tank. Go ahead and set your choke like you would normally start your gas trimmer, and then see how she goes from there. I think for sure you'll stop yourself as far as getting any more fuel leaks once you take care of that cracked primer bulb. Okay, good luck to you, and happy gardening. Have a good day.